2024 has been another fabulous year for cycling products, but what do our team of experts rate as their favourite piece of kit from the last 12 months? We're here with the best of the best, so if you want to know what is really worth the money, then stick around to find out. Let's start with Ash.
Last year, I heaped praise on the Pirelli P0 Race 4S Clincher tyre as being my all-round performance tyre of choice. Of course, things change. I'm now far more happy than I was to run a tubeless setup on my own bike, and almost every tyre brand worth mentioning seems to have launched new rubber in 2023. The Continental Grand Prix 5000 AS-TR has emerged as my favourite of the bunch. Don't get me wrong, I would certainly prefer to fit a lighter, faster tyre for summer riding, such as the GP 5000 STR, Schwalbe Pro 1 TLE, Goodyear Eagle F1R, or Pirelli P0 Race TLR. There's a lot of choice. However, for the other, say 75% of the time, I think the AS-TR hits a blend of performance and protection others have yet to match. When I ride this on my Fairlight Strail 3, with any given wheelset, I can hardly feel the difference compared to an STR. Of course, weight is hardly the priority for my steel bike's general application, and it gives me nigh on the same confidence as the STR when cornering. Continental didn't rip up the STR's construction blueprint when it designed the AS-TR. All it did was add an extra ply to the casing for increased puncture protection, modify the compound to work better in the wet, and make the tread slightly deeper, also for increased grip. None of these things are bad for the general road cycling enthusiast. In fact, I'd argue they're fundamentally good. Tyre choice, as we repeat often, is very subjective, and the development race moves inexorably on for what is a very consumable item. But this, for me, is the current performance all-season standard setter.
An easy choice for me this year, as this little thing has not only come along every single ride with me this year, but it has also saved me from multiple tubeless puncture disasters. This is the Dynaplug Micro Pro Bicycle Tubeless Repair Kit, and it's packed full of all the essentials you'll need to fix a tubeless tyre. So why is it in my list? Well, firstly, it's just really well made. The container is tiny yet bomb-proof, has a weatherproof seal so it keeps everything inside nice and dry, and the aluminium machining is just beautiful quality. Right then, let's crack it open. You've got the tool, 5 stainless steel insertion tubes, 5 soft nose standard plugs, a little micro knife, and an air stopper, and a pipe cleaner to help prep the tube for reloading, which I'd never really used. So how you use it is basically you load the insertion tube with the plug, secure it into the tool, push it into the hole in the tyre until the tube is well inside. Then, as you pull it out, the plug will, in theory, be left inside and half outside the tyre. You can then cut the plug, which sticks out with a little knife. Now, I think it works better than the stand's no tubes dart in my experience. I found the plugs are long and thick enough to get a reliable seal once you've stabbed it in. The photos here were on one of mine and Jack's big Welsh rides, and the only issue I had with this repair was not having enough sealant in my tyre. But I still got home just with a little less pressure than I'd hoped. The plug isn't enough on its own, as the material of the plug works with the sealant to form a nice seal.
My pick is the Vitus Nippy Superlight balance bike that I bought for my son Freddie last Christmas. The joy it has brought him and I this year qualifies it for this list alone, but I've also been impressed by its particular qualities. Now, as promised, it's very light, and that's useful as bike weight is critical for little people with limited strength and dexterity. And while many balance bikes weigh around 3 to 5 kilos, the Vitus Nippy Superlight weighs just 1.94 kilos, including this lovely little bell from Decathlon. That's lighter than the frankly ridiculous Specialized Hot Walk Carbon, which costs £999 or dollars and is claimed to weigh 2.1 kilos. Now, of course, the Vitus frame is aluminium, not carbon fibre, and it has plastic instead of carbon wheels, but it also costs just 45 quid and is available in a range of bright colours. It has clearly been designed to appeal to kids and not to adults with too much money to spend and an obsession with industrial design. Now, it could undoubtedly be improved with pneumatic tyres, spoked wheels, bearings instead of bushings in the headset and so on, but it would cost a lot more if it had those things, and ultimately, it only really needs to do a basic job before we pass it on to the next kid to enjoy. Hopefully the skills that my boy Freddie has learned will pay dividends on a proper kid's bike when the time comes.
My name is Jack Luke and I am an idiot. Despite the fact I wear spectacles every day, 2023 was the first year I invested in a pair of prescription cycling glasses, and I haven't looked back. It should come as no surprise that being able to see clearly on the bike has been a bit of a revelation. It's not as though I was blindly grumbling along bike paths like a star-nosed mole before, but now I can see all of the pretty leaves in HD. I retrofitted a pair of direct glaze Oakley lenses to my oh-so-fashionable frames and have been mostly satisfied with the combo. The optics themselves are excellent. There's no distortion to speak of, and they're every bit as clear as my regular spectacles. However, the central corrected section is darker than the periphery of the lens, which is a bit annoying in direct sunlight. There's also no denying they look a little bit dorky, but it's a price I'm willing to pay for being able to see. Now, before you tell me I should just use contacts, I was long ago put off for life by Grand Fromage George Scott when he revealed that a contact lens had blown out of his eye while ripping down a road descent. To that I say, no thank you. If you want to learn more about prescription cycling sunglasses, check out our full buyer's guide on BikeRadar.com. There's a link to that in the video description.
Castelli's Alpha Series jackets are more heavily insulated than its revered Perfetto range, which replaced the Gabba, making them ideal for deepest, darkest winter. Targeting a wide temperature spectrum from -5 degrees Celsius to 12 degrees Celsius, the Alpha Ultimate ditches the Gore-Tex materials found on the Alpha ROS 2, which I also own and highly rate, and Alpha ROS Lite 2 models. A Polartec Neoshell outer layer is instead paired with an integrated internal Alpha layer. I used this jacket on pretty much every ride last winter and found it to be the rare performer that actually achieves the holy trinity of being waterproof, windproof and breathable. It's the first winter cycling jacket I've ever owned where I don't feel akin to the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz, thanks to its low 371 gram weight in a size large. Although punchy at £380 or $449.99, this jacket saves the need to invest in multiple layers. I'm happy to wear this jacket paired with a short sleeve base layer down to about 4 degrees Celsius and a long sleeve variant for anything more Arctic. Judging by my Castelli Gabba 2 or aforementioned Alpha ROS 2 jacket, I'm confident the Alpha Ultimate will last for years to come.
The 5s from Black Ink come with a Pro Tour price tag, but because of the radical 5-spoke design, these are outlawed by the UCI, which I secretly really like. According to Black Ink, the 5s were never intended for racing. What they set out to do was to create a set of wheels that had the aerodynamic advantage of a mid-depth set of aero wheels, think the 58mm deep Zip 404 or Envy's SES 5.6, but with the weight of a lightweight climbing wheel set. Black Ink claims 1,318 grams for a pair of 5 wheels, and when you add in the essentials of tubeless tapes and valves, my test set tipped the scale at 643.3 grams for the front and 769.6 grams for the rear. To save you doing the sums at home, that's a total of 1,412.9 grams. It makes for an impressively light set of wheels compared to 50 to 60mm deep aero wheels. Now, I must admit to being sceptical about the ride of the 5s. Historically, one-piece wheels like this have been a mixed bag, from the harsh ride of the spins in the mid-90s tri-spokes, to the flexible vagueness of the same era's spinnages, and plenty of long forgotten alternatives. On the road, however, I'm impressed. The lack of mass is always going to count when you hit the hills, but that's not the only string to the 5's bow. The combination of low weight and impressive lateral rigidity gives the 5 a reactive response, pulsing forward with every pedal stroke. Perhaps where the 5s impress the most, however, is in windy conditions. The shape simply shrugs off crosswinds and buffeting better than the mid-height aero wheel sets they are destined to rival. Overall, the 5s offer something very different from the norm. The looks will have a love or hate reaction, but the performance I can't argue with. And to be honest, I love how these look on my Super 6 Evo. It's a wheel set that's impressively fast, responsive, and superbly stable in poor conditions. And that's really all I want from a road wheel set.
The limited cyclocross racing that I've done has mostly all featured the Nopinz all-season Skinsuit. It is intended for use in the colder months for cyclocross, road racing if you're stupid enough, and time trials if you're really stupid. The main body of the suit is ever so slightly thicker than a usual Skinsuit, and it has a bit of a hydrophobic coating too. This helps to retain a little bit of heat or just fend off a bit of rain. But I have to say I wouldn't call it warm or at all waterproof. It is best layered with a technical long sleeve base layer for cold conditions, and in the depths of winter I even used it with some leg warmers. The long legs give excellent coverage while there are grippers at the hems of both legs and arms to keep everything in place. A dense pad is thick at the front end to make on the rivet efforts a little more comfortable, and the number pocket in the back means that no more pinholes in your nice new Skinsuit, which is great. It is comfy to stand up in, making running sections of the course slightly less unbearable. In fact, if you ride for a club and they get their kit through Nopinz, the custom option allows you to spec a shoulder pad for even comfier shouldering of the bike. And that's the thing about cyclocross, you just want to make it comfy. So those are our top picks, but what have you been using this year that you rate highly? Share it in the comments below. If you like your road tech, then we have a whole host of brilliant videos on the channel, so make sure that you're subscribed. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Maybe even next year.